Hi, good morning. This is Matthew Hofmann with another episode of Do-It-Yourself Airstream with Airstream Planet. Here I am standing outside of a 1962 Airstream Overlander, and today we're going to take you on a brief tour about the exterior to see the ins and outs of what you would find in a typical trailer of this vintage. When we purchased this trailer, it generally looked a bit more worn out. It's since been polished, but you'll see that there's only one window up front. This is common for the 1960s vintage. When you go into the 70s, you tend to get some side windows here and here. They're called the skirt windows to either side. In the more even modern day trailers, you'll have those skirt windows continue even further along the trailer. So this is a nice sized window in the 60s. They got a little bit bigger than the 50s. So as you progressively get newer in the years, the windows tend to get a little bit larger. The exterior of the aluminum, this is the aluminum all-clad, and this is actually where they have a very thin layer of 100% pure aluminum sprayed over the top of the aluminum panel itself. And this is one of the trailers, the 60s, is a vintage that will polish to a completely mirror shine. So let's take a walk around the trailer and let's see if we can point out some of the features. This type of louvered window is actually very common for older trailers. In the 1950s and 60s, it's quite oftentimes that you'll find this. A lot of people tend to really appreciate this and like it. I find it quite unique. The hardware is very typical for a type of window that you find of this vintage. It doesn't create a perfect weather seal, however. Every time you bring these down, it's really just glass to glass connection. So if you're in a harsh environment with a lot of wind or weather, you may want to consider a purchase of a different style trailer with a different kind of window here. You'll see that this is the type of door that they have installed. This is a new door handle, but you'll see that this screen over here is actually integrated into the door itself. With a lot of the newer trailers, we have the screen is separate, and it's a separate entity that slides. It doesn't slide, it just hinges separately of the door. This is a panel that actually hinges off of these two here and comes out. So it's kind of a nice little vintage. It's kind of this double door effect where you have a screen coming off. You'll see some panels here. This is probably an old refrigerator access panel. At one point there was a refrigerator installed on this. You can see that we've also had some new panels here installed where there were probably some dents or dings, some imperfections, and we've since renovated that as well. Well, let's continue along this side of the trailer. You'll find a lot of hatches along the sides. This is common in all trailers. You have, this one here, this one here. They're all, these hatches come in different shapes and sizes and styles. If you're replacing the inside of the trailer like for like, you're going to need to reuse that hatch because it's probably accessing something that you need, like a refrigerator or maybe access to a battery or some other components. So you're going to have to look and see about these keys here. Now we're at the back of the trailer, and you'll see that there's an access panel inside the bumper. And a lot of times you'll find that this is where some of the connections, the dump facilities, your power cord typically exists inside this bumper panel. You can also have access to a lot of dump valves back here. And this is pretty convenient. This is typical for all trailers of this vintage. You'll see that we've made several patches on this side. We're readapting this trailer for a new use, and we abandoned some of these old patches or these holes. There was probably a water heater here at one time, and by putting a patch of aluminum using the same rivets and the same type of aluminum, we're actually able to create a nice seamless patch where the eye doesn't really catch all of the different patches here on this side. You have these existing rivet lines all here and vertically and horizontally, and this generally tends to blend in quite nice. You'll find what we've done here is a simple, these tires are in great shape when we bought the trailer. The rims I think were rusted out, but if you take a wire brush to the rims and paint them, they can blend in quite well. These are actually new. We'll talk about these in another episode, but this is a water inlet valve and a shore power line which has been integrated into the side of the trailer. Well, there you have it, a 1962 Airstream Overlander. Well, thanks for watching. For more videos, discussion forums, classifieds, and plenty more Airstream information, you can visit us online at airstreamplanet.com. Thanks again.